Okay, people, before November starts and we get into this whole crazy frenzy of politics, I want to remind you of something that is happening in our country. We all do know about it. We talk about it, we let it go. But then there's been a formation of a group that is determined to sustain the steam, the power, the fire. In fact, to make sure that government does something about it before election 2020. That is before December 7. So the Coalition for Survivors of Domestic Violence has been formed to make sure that we implement that law, that policy, that provision that states that no victim of domestic violence should pay for medical forms before they get justice. We've talked about this on this platform before, but today I'm privileged to have three representatives of this group that are going to tell us how they are going to make sure that this time round there'll be no looking back, that this time round something different, something positive, something definite is going to happen. Well, before I introduce them, let me say thank you to GTP for my cloth. This is what we call instrument. Normally people use it for funerals and outdoors or whatever, but listen, no matter where you're going, you can rock it. It depends on how your designer will do it for you. Okay, let me say thank you to Ophelia Crossland Design for making this dress for me, Dora and the team. Thank you so much. My wake up, as usual, from Inshilo G8. I'll be telling you about an upcoming program in November by Inshilo to make sure that girls who are determined to learn something, to learn a trade. Anyway, I'll be telling you more about it later. Thank you to Con Professional Makeup for my makeup products. And my face beat today is by @Iam_JCloud. @Iam_JCloud. Go and look for him on Instagram and he will sort you out wherever you are. We take a break. When we come back, we get to meet our guest and we get to talking serious business. Welcome back to The Standpoint. Remember, The Standpoint is sponsored by Live Strong with Iron. Especially as women, we need iron. Iron deficiency, anemia is causing a lot of problems and sometimes even leads to maternal deaths. It causes learning difficulties among children under 5 years. It is causing problems for pregnant women, for adolescent women within their menstrual ages from 13, these days even 80 years to about 45, 50, thereabout, because every month we lose a lot of blood. And so you need to incorporate iron fortified foods in all your meals. The contomere, the ademe, the beans, the fish, the eggs. They are not expensive. If you have to use spices, look out for spices that are fortified with iron. If it's oil, if it's flour, if it's powdered milk, some of the cereals for our children, it's so important. We are also sponsored by Easteron balloons and accessories. Everything balloon. Balloons are for all occasions, right? So you contact them for your parties, for what have you. They are into the importation, the retail, and then wholesale of everything balloons and accessories. We also say thank you to Cone Professional Makeup. I always tell you, very light on the face. It lasts longer. And it doesn't make your face look like it's been painted, just polished. Okay, so now let me move on to my guest. And seated right opposite me is Madam Irene Abuchinyahe. She is a human rights lawyer and coordinator for the Coalition for Survivors of Domestic Violence. Let me say CSDV. Welcome to The Standpoint, madam. It's been ages.
Yeah.
Good to have you back on.
Yeah, happy to be back.
If it hadn't been for this, you would have given me excuses. But thank God you are passionate about this in your back. Good to have you. Now, next to her, I have Dr. Akoto Ampao. he is a medical director at the Eastern Regional Hospital at Koforidua and also chairman, Eastern Division Ghana Medical Association. Is it Eastern Division?
Yes,
Ghana Division, Ghana Medical Association. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
And finally, the prodigal sister is back home. Yes. Have Amake Abebrese, actress, TV presenter, and an activist. She is very passionate about things that she believes in and she supports, and she goes all out. And she is a member of the CSDV. All three of them are members of it. And remember, Amma started a petition quite recently that went viral, and she was on BBC as well for that. Welcome to the Standpoint.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So what brought us here? The CSDV. Let me start with Irene.
Yes.
This is not anything new. It's been
I
talked
understand.
about over the years.
We've been talking about domestic violence issues for years. We're talking about women issues for years. And we've been trying from time to time. But I can say that what really triggered this coalition was the famous publication that we saw of the Ifyatenge's admission that indeed there are very high fees for survivors of domestic violence to pay when they take the police forms from the police station and they go to the hospitals, the government hospitals, for their medical examination and the reports. In fact, we were all traumatized when it was confirmed, though we know that it happened. So I decided to bring this to the attention of a few lawyers. We have a group made up of about 200 plus lawyers. So we started discussing it, and one of our members sent Ama's petition to us. So we all decided to push it, and after that, we all decided to come together and fight as a group. So that was how the Coalition for Survivors of Domestic Violence was formed. So we have doctors, lawyers, journalists coming together to think, and yours truly is part of our campaign, and we are very happy that you're on board, and we are also happy that you have given us this platform to speak to the world and push the government to do what we are supposed to do so that this particular problem of poor survivors paying for medical fees will stop.
Amma, what triggered your petition?
I remember for years I'd heard about if there's a rape or defiled victim, if they go to the hospital, government, let's just say, they have to pay for a fee for the report. And when you hear something, but you don't just go ahead and just start talking, because I didn't have proof. I didn't have any document. I hadn't seen it. So I remember I'd had conversations with people. They're like, no, but it's supposed to be free. And I literally, for years. And then I remember some months ago, I saw, it was on Pulse Ghana, I saw a publication from DSP Ifyatenge, and she literally, the quote, and our paraphrase was, rape victims have to pay a fee of between 300 and 800 cedis in order to get their medical reports, in order for the police to work. So for them, the police see it as a bane to get injustice. And I was like, okay, I've been looking for proof, something online, something on paper. So this was, for me, was like, nope. And I literally remember I couldn't sleep. And when you have a platform, how do you reach as many people? So I went on change.org. I started a petition, which was, it has to be abolished. And at the time, I didn't even know that legally, these fees are questionable. It's technically illegal, but then we have all the laws in Ghana, but they're not enforced. So, and literally, I'll be really honest, so many people jumped on board, because I feel like a lot of people are passionate about this. They've heard about it, and they were willing to sign the petition, and this was to the president of Ghana and the government, to either abolish, for me, it was initially let them abolish the fees, but it seems like it has to be absorbed some way, because the doctors have to be compensated for it. And I'll be really honest, when I began, I was really upset with the doctors. I was like, how can doctors do that? So forth, because I'm a very emotional person. I can understand why this was in the first place. But as I've come to learn, there are wider issues surrounding this, and it just goes not just be blaming the doctors or blaming the police or blaming whoever. I feel like this is from top to bottom, there's issues. And we as a society have failed if, in this instance, a parent with a defiled child or a rape victim has to pay for medical report in order for the case to proceed. It's wrong. And I feel like from top to bottom, we've all failed.
You know, Dr. Akutompo, I found it interesting when I saw that you had joined the coalition, right?
Yes.
Because in March, I'm sure you know about it, I had a running battle with doctors
Yes.
who took me. I actually screenshot. I was going to read some of them, but it will be given unnecessary attention to divert it. When we had a little girl, 12-year-old girl, who was from Edumasa, who was raped, and VRA hospital, the girl was denied justice because of 300 Ghana cedis. And we talked about a number of girls who some had to be returned to the perpetrators, all because they couldn't pay. And the doctors were up in arms, just like Amma said, and initially you'd be up in arms, and it became something else. So I found it interesting that you joined. Of course, I know some doctors who do it for free.
Yes.
Talk about, you know, Dr. Beidu of Kolebu, talked about Dr. Kadman,
Cadman.
Kadman, and a few others. So let me ask you, why did you decide to join this coalition? And what do your colleagues think about you? Or think of you?
I think my colleagues think very highly of me and proud of me as well. It's because the approach to some of these problems can be very different at different points in time. I do not want to believe that a doctor's wealth or richness would come from signing police form or endorsing police forms for rape victims.
Yeah.
Anybody who has practiced medicine and seen what rape victims go through would understand that this is not a point to exploit people. However, it is also the truth that whatever service it is that is provided must be paid for. And I don't think that a doctor would go and pray that, oh, somebody should get sick to come to a hospital for me to make my wages, let alone somebody should be defiled or raped.
Right.
So I would just say that maybe it's the choice of words on social media, how people feel that they are targeted in a particular way.
But Doc, before we get on to, you know, the other things, just like Amma said that, and lawyer Irene said, it is somehow considered as illegal because it's not in our books. It's not supposed to be charged. But then during the campaign, I also got to know that it's the Ghana Medical Association that came up and gave the directive that should charge between 300 and 800. And various explanations given was that government was supposed to set up a fund to pay for, the understanding was that you use it to pay for your transportation when you are called to court and so on and so forth. And the government was supposed to set up a fund that will give you the money. And the fund hasn't been set up. That is why you charge. Is this true?
Okay, so I happen to work for government as a
Right.
medical director, and I'm also a member of Ghana Medical Association and being a chairman of their division. So it means that I was party to certain of the fees.
Right.
Okay, right. So we thought that our practice needed to also be regulated in a manner that we desire,
Right.
such that I do not come and provide services and then everybody thinks that, oh, as for doctor, it's just, oh, okay, can you write a prescription for me? And it's thank you.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I go to the other side, I also want some service, and then
you
say
have
you
to
have
pay.
to pay for it. Okay. So having looked at
So you
all
can't
those
take
things,
compassion to the market, right?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So having looked at all those things, we set up a committee that agreed to look at our fees and regulations and other things. So amongst those ones, we said endorsing a police form will cost between 300 to 500, depending on where you are, right? And these fees must be paid directly to the medical officer endorsing that form, right? And it is because this is what the medical officer or whoever it is that uses would use to cater for transport would also amount to time spent in working. And then in the unseeable future, if it should be that the case should go to court, this person will spend virtually the whole day there. So we agreed on that. Okay, right. Having said that, there are doctors, like you mentioned, who, I mean, I would say that if a case like that comes to me personally,
Yeah, I was going to say, including yourself.
Yes, I do not see why I should charge somebody who has been abused. So I end up endorsing quite a lot of them. And wherever I've practiced, police officers and others will attest to it. That, okay, there's a problem. Go to Dr. Akotampa, he would actually help you with that. And I do help. However, I must say that that does not mean that my colleague, the medical officer who wants to be paid for that service, has become a demon.
Right.
Absolutely not.
I want. This is where I have an issue.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm permitted to.
Yes, you can come in. Yes.
This is where I have an issue, and I'm not a lawyer. This is just from the information that I found out. At the end of the day, and that's what, the blame is on from top to bottom. So it's not just say doctors alone.
Doctors.
The issue is this: if we have the law that goes back as far back as 1971, the Hospital Act, that says that domestic violence, rape, defilement, it should be free. 2007 Domestic Violence Act also says anybody who suffers domestic violence and rape and defilement is under that category should also be free.
Truly, there are quite a number of laws already in existence that should allow those victims to be treated for free, including absolutely everything. However, this is a country that we are in where laws are made, but there's no enforcement of such.
Right.
Okay, so let me digress a little bit and I'll come back. Okay. I'm a medical director, so more or less I superintend over hospitals. Okay, right. At the hospital, the person at the front desk that received the person in, that, okay, you have come with a rape victim who needs care. Okay, you need to go through to the records. There's no discretion there. At the records, you either are flashing your insurance card that would allow you to be treated for free, or you are paying cash if you do not have insurance.
Right.
Okay. At that point, there's absolutely no discretion. He does not have the discretion because to even start with, he cannot confirm whether this person is truly raped or is a victim of domestic violence. So how does it start? So you see, you end up paying right there. Then the care goes on, okay? During the process of care, go and run this lab, go and do that, okay? Those people who do those things do not have discretion. I'm sure that if I was informed as medical director that, oh, this is what it is, I probably would have said that, okay, now you can have it for free because there's a law that backs me. But the people running the system, they don't have discretion.
Dr. Akotampa, what I know is that this money is collected by the doctors.
I'm coming.
And not at the records or the reception or whatever. They're collected directly by the doctors. But let me take a break. You're watching The Standpoint. Let me say thank you to our supporters. Go-Got, you-Got. If I don't acknowledge it, they won't support us again. Go-Got, you-Got. Every woman, you know it. You-Got is good for you. And if you have to go for you-Got, it has to be Go-Got, you-Got. Juice time, 100% fruit juices. Awake purified mineral water and royal drinks by Casa Preco Company Limited. House of Foods, Auntie Vera, we thank you for feeding us every time we have to record. Cake Techniques, their cakes, cupcakes especially, are to die for. Thank you to Kodam's Gift and Stationery. Everything gift, everything stationery. Just get in touch with them and they will sort you out. Yacht Cleaning Services takes care of our environment. Everything cleaning, your home, your office, your events. Call them and they will be there. The Standpoint is now aired on 6 platforms. Yes, 6. Joy Prime on Sundays at 6:30 p.m. Repeated on Thursdays at 11 p.m. On EBN TV on Saturdays at 7 p.m. Repeated on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. And then on Truth TV on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Repeated on Saturdays at 9 a.m. We stream on Facebook on Sundays at 8 p.m. YouTube 8 p.m. and on our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, powered by Dream Oval, also on Sundays at 8 p.m. So 6 platforms plus the repeated programs. We go viral everywhere. So this is the program to sponsor, to support, and we need your support and your sponsorship to keep going. 12 years of consistency of telling the story from the feminine side. We take a break. When we come back, you can tell there is a lot of education and explanation to be done when it comes to this issue of paying for medical forms. We'll be back. Welcome back to The Standpoint. And remember, The Standpoint is sponsored by Live Strong with Iron. And iron deficiency is a major problem. Among pregnant women, 4 out of 10. Among children under 5 years, 6 out of 10. All of them have iron deficiency. And we need to work on, we need to check it. Your immune system needs boosting. Your blood levels need to be right at every given time. When you go to the hospital as a pregnant woman, you're given your iron tablet. Please take them. And the folic acid. Please take them. Take them. Iron is a life. We also sponsored by Con Professional Makeup. They are the makeup products to go for. They have a range, and their makeup products are very light. They last long, very nice, and gentle on the face. No extra chemicals or whatever to give you the, rashes and acne problems and then eye problems and lips problems that some makeup gave us. You don't have it, so you need to go for that. And then Easteron balloons and accessories, everything balloons. They are into the importation, wholesale, and retail of balloons and accessories. Every event, call them and they will come and sort you out. Wherever you are in this country, just call them. Balloons are for all occasions. Now back to the panel. And let me go to Dr. Akotuapa to explain further what it meant about, the payment, the systems you go through and the monies you have to pay before you get to the doctor. People
See rape victims and other things from different perspectives. But we are the ones who see the real thing. Mm-hmm. You understand? You see the trauma that they've gone through. You understand the physical hurt that has happened in their private part and others, even sometimes somatic. In attending to them, we advocate for a holistic approach. And that is why I even, for example, who would want to sign a medical form for free. If a police officer brought a rape victim to me and said, "Doctor, can you endorse my form?" I said, "Take the form away from me. That is not my priority. My priority is to attend to the victim and be sure that she or he, if it may be, is very good and healthy." So we need to look at all the medical aspects of it. Right from the beginning. Physically, psychologically, mentally. Beyond that, you need to look at, is there a possibility of transmission?
Sometimes those are even more important than the justice.
Transmitted diseases, HIV. If the person is exposed to HIV, I mean, we have a window period of 72 hours by which we could start a PEP for antiretroviral and others. But the main focus is always police form, evidence and all that. That is not it. What is the point in getting a police form signed? You go to court. And then the opportunity where we could prevent this young lady from contracting HIV is missed. And that is where our position is. Let's look at the holistic approach so that the whole thing is free. And then when I finish doing all that processes from the start, in a week's time, in a month's time, everything is documented. You can come with the police form and I can sign it at any time. But I must acknowledge that having joined the coalition, I've noticed that, yes, there are some legalities, there are laws that even allow that we should not charge for the police forms. However, service provision must be paid for. That is our position.
And
So
the
it
issue
all
is
comes-
who pays for it.
Who pays for it?
Okay,
It all
let me go
comes
to
the
Irene. You and I
education
have
bit
had,
of it.
I have had a program on how difficult it is to prosecute cases, especially of rape in this country. Yeah. How does this issue play in the whole scheme of things? The issue of payment for the medical report.
Yes. From where I sit as a legal practitioner, I may sympathize with the doctor, but I will not agree with his holistic approach. Why? Because he is right in taking care. His focus is care for the patient.
Right.
Mine is evidence, and that's all I need at that
Right.
time. So we are allowed to differ.
Yes,
So
of course.
I am focusing on evidence as soon as possible, so that I will be able to have the perpetrator arrested based upon some of the evidence I will produce to the police. Now, if the victim could not get past that step of obtaining the medical report, we cannot wait for the doctor to look for the psychological effects, for the healing, though it is very necessary. But as lawyers and the victim, we cannot wait for the holistic approach. So what we are looking for at this stage is to get the form endorsed to at least confirm that there was defilement or there was rape, and then we take the next step as soon as possible. So now we are unable, a lot of victims or survivors are unable to obtain the form because there's a huge obstacle, which is financial. The laws as they exist today frown upon taking money from the victims. I think that we just have to push the campaign, push the education, push the government to come out with clear directives.
The legal profession and the police need the medical report. I don't think they want the doctors to stop treating victims and survivors. I speak, just by virtue of this, I speak to a lot of families, children, even young ladies who have been through sexual assault, rape, defilement. And the healing process or the medical process can last for a year or 2 years. There was a little girl in Kumasi, she's 6, she was defiled and it went all the way up to her anus. She's still receiving medical treatment. She's gonna need it probably she's 6 years old, she's a baby. The medical report was gotten, they had to pay, the family had to pay. I think the doctor demanded 500, they didn't have it. In the end, they begged him and they took 300. They contacted me after the fact. I'm supporting the little girl because she's gonna need holistic treatment. It's not gonna end because the doctor endorses the police form. I think I just want to make that clarity.
Right.
They still have to give them the antiretrovirals. That still can be done with that. It shouldn't be one or the other, unless I'm getting it wrong. I don't think it should be one or the
you see,
other.
Amma,
You can still treat the victim, write your
Exactly
medical
what
report
we are
and
saying.
jail them.
Exactly what
But
we
you
are
made
saying.
it
But
seem
you
like
see-
it's one or the
Yeah.
other.
No,
that's
I
not
think
it.
the impression I'm getting
a lot
from
of the
Doctor
time,
that
a lot of the time we get is that when these things happen, the person goes to the police station. That's
Right.
the first thing that happens. Goes to the
Because
police
that's what they
station.
tell them, right?
Sometimes
To do.
even at the police station, they tell you that, wait, the sergeant is not there.
Yeah.
Come
Yes.
tomorrow for a form.
Yes.
And we are saying that that should not be the approach.
I
you
agree.
think the first
The
protocol should be the
hospital.
exactly,
Hospital.
to the
Before-
hospital.
I agree.
So when you come to the hospital, whatever it is that
I
we
agree.
do, we document because we are aware that we have to write a report.
Right.
So you write everything that would
I
show
agree.
evidence,
Right.
and then you proceed to give treatment. So at any time that the form is ready, bring the form. And all we
I
do
agree.
is open the book or open the computer or whatever and transcribe all that we have done in that. But the focus of until I get the form, I'm not coming to hospital is wrong. And that is why you are saying that is the totality of the education that must come on.
So
but I also
definitely we need
agree-
to re-strategize.
Yes, I also agree that demanding money
Yeah.
for signing the form, which should cause impediment in acquisition of justice is equally wrong.
Right.
No, I wish every doctor was like you. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that's why he's a member, and a member of the GM is saying this. So definitely he has a voice.
Yes.
And he has a standing.
In your association.
So people watching, other colleagues watching him, you know, can say that, well, this is one of our own, not just some women sitting somewhere bashing us. Yes. Because they don't understand.
That's
because this is a man
look,
who understands it.
I'll still maintain my position that that does not demonize anybody
who takes the money.
Just like
right,
Irene
let me take
here.
another break for the sake of time. Let me take, and when we come back, look at the way forward, because that is why the coalition has been formed to make sure that things change. Things, you know, are done differently. Yes. We need to re-strategize and make sure that there must be implementation.
Exactly.
Madam Coordinator, is it implementation you are pushing? Okay, exactly. Let me take a break. When we come back, we'll get to that. You're watching The Standpoint. Again, I say thank you to GTP for my cloth. My dress was made for me by Ophelia Crossland Designs. My wake up by Inshallah. In November, Inshallah is going to have a 2-day training program from the 13th to the 14th of November. And you need to call this number on the screen and register. She's giving you 70% discount. So instead of 1,000 cedis or so, you are paying 250 Ghana cedis. You get trained on how to make wake ups, how to fix weave on, how to do makeup, and so many things. There'll be people to speak to you about how to market your product, how to look out for good quality hair, so many things. And it will happen at the Accra Digital Center. Call and register. You know what is happening now. You can't just stand up there. You need to register and be given the right protocols to follow and what it will take for you to be a part of. Thank you to Cone Professional Makeup for my makeup products, and my face beats my makeup is by @IAM_J Cloud. He is on social media. He is on Facebook. Get in touch and he will sort you out. We'll be back. When we come back, the way forward. Welcome back to The Standpoint. We are supported by Go-Got Yogurt, Juice Time, Awake Purified Mineral Water, and Royal Drinks by Casapreco Company Limited, House of Foods. Mrs. Sofori Poku, thank you so much. We are ever grateful to you for always supporting us. Cake Technique, Juice Time, Kodam's Gift and Stationery, thank you so much. Yep Cleaning Services, they take care of our environment. Now, our website, www.thestandpoint.com.gh, is powered by Dream Over. Follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's all The Standpoint. Now, back to the panel. And let me start with Amma. What is the way forward?
I think the way forward is government has to sit up. Because I feel like, you know, it's easy to blame the police, blame the doctors, blame, even sometimes it's victims, you know, survivors are even blamed. But the bottom line is there's a system from the top to bottom that hasn't worked. If we have a Hospital Act of 1971 and Domestic Violence Act of 2007 that says that this should be free. I mean, we're focusing on medical reports only, but there is a holistic approach that needs to be looked at. The government are not enforcing the laws, which are already there. And at times, the police may be failing, doctors may be failing, society, me, you, we are all failing. Something is wrong. The thing is, why should a child be defiled in the first place? Why should this even be in the first place? But there's a sickness in society that even finds us that we sit here, that we need to even fight for medical forms. In my ideal world, hey, maybe I'm a dreamer. No woman should be raped, no child should be defiled. But since it's there, I think the whole system needs to be done, and government has to sit up. If we have these laws in the first place, this coalition should never have been formed in the first place if it was enforced.
What is the way forward?
Definitely.
Coming from the medical point of view,
yes,
and the activist and a member of the CSDV.
Definitely, a lot of things need to change. We need to carry the education just beyond ourselves to include the doctors. Yes. But for me, more importantly is that somebody must pay for their care as well. 300 cedis is nothing compared to the multiple surgeries that must happen. And who pays for that? The victim will only be lucky if he gets to know one of us here who is ready to support. But government must absorb that bill. If government must absorb that bill, then they must allow hospitals to treat and send the bill somewhere for the bill to be paid. However, it does not happen. And that is where we come in. Again, if the doctor provides service, endorses a form, and in the likely event that it goes to court, and the doctor is called upon to come and provide evidence, somebody must pay for that. And I'm told the courts are supposed to pay.
Yes.
What do they pay? How often do they pay that? So in totality, I think that the education must work, and then we must continue our advocacy to ensure that all these different facets fit into place such that our victims, so to speak, would get better care from us.
And Madam Coordinator will give us the benediction. What is different about this coalition, and what are you going to do different? What are you pushing? How sure are you that this time something different will happen?
Yeah. Issues concerning women are not taken seriously in this country. And I don't know why. Mostly women get raped. The laws are there that when this unfortunate incident happened, they should not take money from them. Why is it that the government cannot just give a directive to all hospitals? Because they are also workers. That this is it. In fact, one of our members, Martin Pebu, went to court some time ago, tried to enforce this very, very laws. And the High Court came out very clearly that it's unfair. The person has been victimized. And at every point, there's victimization taking place. That we have to continue the education. And thank you very much for the platform. We have to continue the education so that everybody gets sensitized on the issue. Everybody gets informed. Whatever it takes for results. Whatever it takes for results, we should go for it.
We will be possible that one of these days we may hit the streets.
If that is what it takes.
Okay.
If that's what it takes, because it appears we are not being heard, or either we are being heard or we are being taken for granted.
On that note, I say long live CSDV,
Amen.
Long live women, long live doctors,
Compassionate
lawyers, journalists, various professionals who believe
And long live
that
Gifty
that no woman, no child deserves to be raped, to be defiled. That our land, our country, our world needs healing. It needs some sensitization for people to know and understand that the harm that they cause to such victims is not just about, the today, but then it affects them in so many ways. And on this program, we've done programs when we've seen grown-up women, professionals, achievers who are still struggling with some rape, some defilement that happened to them years, 40, 50 years ago. They conquer the evil that we are doing to our children and our women is way beyond that seconds of satisfaction that we get. And as for victim blaming, that's another show that we'll have to come back and do, maybe in December. Thank you all for coming. God bless you. And once again, well done. Wish you all the best. Long live CSDV. We'll be back with a bit of me. I get surprised day in and day out about, the number of laws and conventions and policies that, protect or are supposed to protect women that we have in this country called Ghana. It's so interesting. So interesting. We are good at draft. I mean, it's no secret. We have all the experts here. The choice of words, the English. But implementation. Implementation. I think there must be a course taught in our schools on how to implement. It's sad. I'm yet to meet anyone who can explain why a child will have to be defiled, why a woman must be raped. It doesn't really make sense to me. Listen, we are causing more harm to our people. If you think you are worried about our next generation or the kind of country we are going to have in the next 4 years because of the youth and the way they see things, well, you have something else coming. What you need to worry about is the mindset of the people who are going to fill our various professional institutions and govern us. Some of them damaged already. That if we do not get them help now, you and I, who are being silent, are in trouble. This is a time for us to speak up. Speak up and get our government, our institutions working to protect the women and children of this country. You see, people who have been raped or defiled are already traumatized. They go through so much. The shame, the guilt, the misunderstanding, the confusion that they go through, not understanding why this should happen to them. The sad part is, sometimes we have to put them out there to appeal for funds for their healing process. Maybe the saddest part is for their medical report to be signed so that the case can go to court. There are a lot of perpetrated pedophiles walking around today because the victims didn't get the money to pay for medical report. No, I'm not blaming doctors. I'm not blaming lawyers. I'm not blaming the police. I'm not blaming parents. I'm blaming the society that has decided to keep quiet and not speak up. I am blaming government, various governments over the years, who have refused to make sure that that provision, that law, that makes medical treatment for such victims free are not implemented. This is a new dawn. This is a new time that we need to rise. Yes, I'm very passionate about this. Because over the years, I've seen too many girls, too many women who are still living with the pain. With the pain, the hurt of a rape that happened 40, 50, 30, 12, 10 years ago. Some of them with permanent damage. Rise. Rise. Rise and let's fight against this. Something must be done. Everybody deserves justice. As usual, I believe and have strong faith in God. I'm a woman with super crazy faith in God. But I know that God has given us wisdom. Let's apply it. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.